Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Becoming Multiplanetary. This is a brand new episode in a series which we will keep coming back to every now and then in Becoming Multiplanetary, and it is called The Mars Generation. Today's episode is the first, and it features an interview with Jack from Civilian Space. Jack is part of the Mars Generation, and we interview him on the origins of how he became interested in space and where his journey goes from there. Without further ado then, let's get right to it. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Becoming Multiplanetary. I'm Rich LB, and we're going to be introducing a new show today called The Mars Generation, which is going to feature interviews with people who would be from the generation that will be going to Mars. Our first interview today is going to be held with Jack from Civilian Space. Would you like to say hi, Jack?
Hello there.
And also with me today, I'm going to have another space nut.
Hi everybody, standing in for Cargay. I know I don't have the whole beard factor going on, but I hope we can make some beer magic together, Rich.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, with that, let's get this underway. Jack, my first question for you is, when did you really first get into space, and what was it that first piqued your interest about the space industry?
I first got into space during lockdown of 2020 when I was just stuck in the house watching YouTube. I came across some YouTubers and I saw the progress in Boca Chica and how open they were with their space development.
Yeah.
And like how quickly they're going down there.
Yeah, the progress they're making down there is absolute breakneck speed. Such has always been the way with SpaceX. They're absolutely amazing at throwing things up there. So it was during lockdown, and you were, finding YouTubers out there in the space community, and you were looking at the progress they were making in Boca, SpaceX were making in Boca Chica. Was there anything else at the time that piqued your interest?
Also, like the heavy launch cadence of the Falcon 9, and like how often like the same booster was getting flown. Yeah. And it's crazy that we've went for like non-reusable rockets to mostly reusable rockets into space in about 50 years.
Yeah. It is crazy, and we've had somebody on in Total Space before, actually, who is also one of our Patreons, Stinger NSW, absolutely top man. He actually, he keeps track of these boosters and what missions they've been on, and he finds it absolutely fascinating as well. So I'm sure he'll be really happy to hear you say that.
I hope so.
So, next question. If you could pick any job in the space industry without having to worry about any qualifications of that first, what would it be?
Surprisingly, I wouldn't be an astronaut. I would like to be like one of those people who work on rockets, build rockets, refurbish rockets and all that.
So,
yeah.
A rocket engineer then, helping design and build these things.
Exactly.
Awesome. Absolutely cool. And have you thought about where you'd like to take those skills? Is there any companies in mind that you'd love to work for?
Basically, any Astra, SpaceX, Boeing, just all of them. Like any rocket interests me, and just the experience to work on a rocket would be a crazy one.
Yeah, good answer. Absolutely. That's a really good answer. You got something to add to that, Space Nut?
I would just think, is there any one specific rocket? Could you say you'd be an engineer? Is there any one specific rocket that you'd absolutely love to be able to just go into work and play with every day?
I would love to work on Starship. It's not like Falcon 9 always seems so organised. Down in Boca Chica, it doesn't seem like it's thrown together, but it just doesn't. It's organised chaos. So I would love to walk down there.
Yeah, Starship seems like something really awesome to be working on, especially with the Super Heavy as well. Can you imagine the amount of pipe work is under there to get all those engines fed up?
Oh man, I would like to imagine.
Yeah,
Man,
I'm
the pictures that Elon shares, it's just like Jack was saying, it's organised mess. You're just like 3 header tanks over there and a centre segment here and the fairings kicked over in the corner and
Yeah, if you like
just kicked outside.
with like the Raptor engine, the Raptor engines, how they've developed over space about 6 months. At the start, they were like really messy and all that, but now that just seems like everything has a place as well.
Well, with the Raptor engine, it's the first time they've, if correct me if I'm wrong here, Space Nut, it's the first time they've used full flow staged combustion technology. It's the first engine that is successful in doing so and actually flown doing so. So it's a style of combustion that's never been successfully used before, which is why it was so difficult for them to get it working in the first place.
So powerful at the start, it was shaking itself to death.
Yeah. Yeah, too much boom. Speaking of booms, are you a big fan of science fiction? And if so, what are your favorite shows?
I'm actually not really. I'm really into like shows that explain stuff well. I'm not like into. I know like engineering kind of stuff, but I'm not really into like movies and TV shows like that. Because you don't really think it'll come true, but Elon can prove us wrong as well.
Well, yes, this is true. And with some things like other science fiction shows in the past, we've seen things that have actually materialized in real life thanks to some of the crazy ideas these shows had back in the day and the foresight that the writers had. So science fiction.
I heard an ex-senior employee at DARPA say, take Star Trek as an example, and we've made every bit of the technology. It was either viable, deployed, or unusable.
Yeah. It's crazy to think. Absolutely crazy to think. However, you mentioned there that you like to watch things that are, informative and stuff on YouTube. Being that this is a series called The Mars Generation, have you ever seen a documentary on Netflix called The Mars Generation?
I have not. I have heard of it, but I haven't really got around to it. I have watched like other space movies like Apollo 13, The Martian, and all that.
I would definitely recommend giving The Mars Generation a watch because there's a lot in there that would definitely appeal to somebody your age, of the like things that you can take part in and stuff like that. And that actually brings me neatly to my next question. If there was a space camp in the UK, would you want to go?
Yes, there's recently though I did get told about one just near me. You have to like something in maths. I would really love to do that. Like, there's actual like NASA astronauts and all that there.
Yeah,
so I would love to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is something that I would definitely like to see more of in the UK, and I would definitely love to be able to get people like yourself there, so you can meet all these people in the space industry, and get that excitement and get your passion for engineering. Start putting down foundations of what you want to do, how you're going to get to where you want to go. It's really, really important. So it is something that we're definitely going to be looking to see more of, hopefully. And this one's an interesting one for you, Jack. If you could ask the UK Space Agency anything about space, what would you ask them?
I've actually thought about this a little bit. I would like to see if they are developing a crew capsule for the UK agency's rocket, and like to see if they would be able to create that. And definitely,
So effectively, you would ask whether they would be plans to have a crew-rated rocket in the UK space fleet. Effectively,
yes.
Okie dokie. Yeah, that's certainly a valid question coming from someone living in the UK with aspirations in the space industry. So she'll see about passing that along.
Yeah, I'm looking forward also like to seeing the space launches for the UK, like the Virgin. I can't even remember the setting one. Yeah, and also like they're not planning to launch for the Highlands as well. Was it like?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is a space launch pad. I think they're trying to set one up in Sutherland, if I remember correctly, which is up in the north of Scotland.
Yeah.
And there's also plans to have one in Shetland as well, I think. That is entirely dependent on current litigation with a couple who own land nearby at the moment. That's currently in the news at the moment. That's currently in talks and trying to make some headway on that in order for us to be able to have a spaceport. But as is always with these things, there are environmental considerations and stuff to go through as well. So we have to make sure that we do it right.
Exactly.
So with that then, is there anything that you would like to add, Jack, to this?
To be honest, I'm really looking forward to the Starship Orbital launch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking forward to see what will come out of that program. It's going to be crazy one day to see it from like city hopping, getting like London to Tokyo in a few hours.
Well,
and
if I remember correctly, it was most anywhere in half an hour.
That's crazy.
And
everywhere in under an hour.
Everywhere in under an hour. That's everywhere in under an hour.
Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah, that would be great because then me and SpaceNet here could go over to Stinger NSWs and sit down, have a coffee and a chat, and then be back home in time for dinner.
If you have an extra few £1 million, that is.
I think we're going to see a lot of cargo transfer Earth to Earth on Starship before we see people. It's got to be highly rated because ultimately, when people are talking about this 100 passenger Starship variant, that is the Earth to Earth variant. You're going to see a much lower number for Mars transit. 100 passengers, you're going to really, really, really want to make sure that rocket's safe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then by building that legacy of launches and doing safe cargo missions, and that's eventually how we rate it. And might be a few additional tests required, and if some other countries, if you're landing there, might want some of their own tests just to be sure. It can be a bit of working out, but I'm sure we'll get there. Sure, we'll definitely see it. Right.
I think also that like they use Starship for like US Space Force example, Marines, and all that, just to transport like army cargo and all that to locations around the globe.
Yeah, there's also military applications as well, certainly.
I know that it was recently announced that the DoD had looked at the potential for using Starship for Earth-to-Earth transit of military ordnance globally. So that once again ties in with the idea of seeing cargo variants for quite a while before we see the passenger variants, whether that's in military format or commercial transport. Because think about us here in the UK, Rich. If you order a product that's fulfilled from China, it's going to travel by boat over several weeks to get here. Yeah. Versus, imagine filling a Starship full of products in China and having it arrive in the UK in under 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Story.
This is very true. So that about wraps it up here for this. So what I'd like to say here, Jack, is like to just give you a couple of minutes here to let everybody know where they can find you online.
Okay, no problem. I am on Twitter at Civilian Space, and I am also a writer for a website called the Inner Space Network. I write a few blogs there a week, and you can actually see 2 of my writings there right now.
Nice. Very, very nice. So, that's it for this week's Becoming Multiplanetary. Thank you all for joining in, and see you all next time. The first thing you viewers might notice in this show is that Kage isn't in this episode. That's because Kage has decided he needs to take a break from producing with us right now in order to focus on real life. I'm sure everyone here at Total Space Network will join me in wishing Kage the best of luck, and we hope to see his beardy goodness, spicy memes, and even spicier takes back here with us soon.